welcome everybody to Pick and Roll. This is your daily weekday NBA betting show on the Board NBA YouTube channel and the Board NBA Twitter account, which is, of course, the NBA content division of the Hammer Betting Network. Visit thehammer.bet for all of your sports betting content needs, and visit the Board NBA on YouTube and Twitter for all of your NBA content needs. And of course, on this show, we like to go through some discussion topics surrounding the NBA. Today, we will be talking about the MVP race, though we are only a quarter into the season, before, of course, at the end of the episode, going into the official picks from Pips. And one big play to talk about from yesterday, two official plays on the slate for today. I just want to remind you guys that this episode is powered by Thrive Fantasy. So yesterday we had one pick on the board. Let's recap this one first of all. We have the same game parlay, Luka Doncic on the points, rebounds, assists, and we also had, of course, the Dallas Mavericks alt spread against the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons are bad, but the Dallas Mavericks on the road, I think, might be even worse after this one. I don't want to give too much away because I know Pips has a ton of thoughts about this one, but the one play, unfortunately, is a loser here as one of the legs doesn't go. Pips, you watched this whole game. You want to sound off on the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I was so frustrated watching this game. So many different things, so many different. I don't know where to start even. I was just first said, the one I sent you, Spencer Dinwiddie should be like the second scoring option and the second guy behind Luka Doncic, and he attempted 2 field goal attempts in 28 minutes and made zero field goals made in the game against the worst defense in the league.
Yep.
In the game where most of the time Dallas was down 10 points and he didn't do anything. It was amazing. It was amazing. That part, then their defense, they couldn't stop Killian Hayes. Like,
of all players not to be able to stop, it's Killian Hayes.
That's wrong on so many levels. And of course, I'm okay with them having trouble to stop Bojan Bogdanovic. Yeah, he had an amazing game. He made almost every shot he took. He scored very, very efficient 30 points, but Killian Hayes scoring 14 points over the last 4 minutes in the game plus overtime, just unbelievable. And I would say this with them, Dallas going to the Hardaway Jr. to start and needed to play way more minutes from Christian Wood. When they have Hardaway Jr. is like I would say an average defender, and Luka Doncic is way below average, and Christian Wood is one of the worst bigs defense. They are sacrificing a bit of offense for a ton of defense. And I know Reggie Bullock can't make any shot this season, but I expected way more from their defense, and I overplayed their value there. And and Luka Doncic also had some struggles. I think early third, like 3 minutes into it, he didn't score for 14 straight minutes on the floor. Like I can't remember when was the last time I've seen Luka Doncic 14 minutes without a single point. But that was it yesterday. And Pistons are shooting 33% from 3 on the season, and they shot 43% last night. Like, everything combined went against our alternative spread. And even then, the game went to the overtime, and Dallas was up 5, and they still lost. So, unfortunately.
It was a very rough game for Dallas here. I think that drops them now to 1-8 on the road this season. Luka Doncic is looking like an MVP candidate, but I think maybe one of the only things stopping him from getting there could be the Dallas Mavericks record, because this is a very bad team, a lottery team challenging for the first pick, I think, if Luka Doncic is not a part of this team, but he is just that good. But is it good enough, as we transition into our discussion topic, is it good enough from Luka Doncic to actually challenge that MVP award? If you're watching on YouTube, you saw the title. Switched it up today. We're discussing early MVP picks. Luka Doncic, I think, definitely can be in the conversation by the end of the season, but the Dallas Mavericks record is going to be a factor. But let's go over to Pips first of all. Quarter of the season in, just about. If the award was given out today, who would you be giving that award to?
I mean, that's a really tough question this season because we had so many guys scoring a ton of points, assisting, being very, very efficient. But I think for now, I think it's pretty clear for me that that should be a Jayson Tatum.
Yeah.
Like he's scoring 32 points, 8 rebounds, almost 5 assists, being efficient on the best offense of the all time, and he's amazing defender. Like every possible dot can be just check mark. And I know Giannis is playing also great, but we are Bucks aren't that great so far, like the Boston's are, and I think I like Jayson Tatum more, but there is always a case for Giannis because he'll just you'll look at his number and it's like 30, 12 and 5 and being a defensive player of the year candidate. So yeah, but for
Yeah.
now, I think I will go for Jayson Tatum. But there are so many guys. Like there is Steph Curry, like
Yeah.
having one of the best seasons of all time, and Golden State Warriors improving their record. If they get like to the net, I don't know, like 48 or 50, over 50 wins, he'll have a strong case. Devin Booker is playing out of his mind. Like so many guys, it was never this difficult to decide. It's difficult to decide top five. I
Yes.
mean, yeah.
Well, my five, I could talk about a lot of these guys. I could talk about Booker, Curry, Doncic, Giannis. I'll touch a little bit further on Giannis here because I think we're so numb to Giannis being like the best player in the league that we just kind of forget how good he is. Like 30, 12, and 5. Are you kidding me? While also being a defensive player of the year candidate. Like that's not normal. I think like in a decade's time, we'll look back on Giannis and just talk about like, wow, like this guy was literally doing this every single season. We didn't really understand how good he was at the time. I think kind of like LeBron in the sense where like, yeah, he gets all this credit, but like it was beyond what he was given credit wise. I think Giannis will be the same way. But as far as this season, I have to agree it's Jayson Tatum. I will wear my Boston sports hatred on my sleeve here, but I can't deny the Celtics, the most efficient offense of all time. They're on pace to shatter the all-time record for offensive rating, points per 100 possessions. So Jayson Tatum doing all this offensively, as you mentioned, doing so more efficiently than he's ever done, while also scoring by far the most points he's ever had. And with all of that, like you said, playing good defense, defending oftentimes the opposition's best player as well. He is doing it all for the 18-4 Celtics. So yeah, there can be no arguments from me there. But with so many guys like we were talking about in the hunt here, it is a long season to go before we can really pin down that award. That's just what it is so far. So moving into our Thrive Fantasy segment. Come prop up this fantasy season yet again. We want to remind you guys about Thrive Fantasy, the daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. And today, one of the contests that you can sign up for from an NBA standpoint is their $20 NBA Friday with a total of $5,000 in prizes. So you go over to the contest on their main page when you sign into Thrive Fantasy with code HAMMER and go in, pick 10 of the 20 player props available. Each of the over and unders are assigned a certain amount of fantasy points based on how likely it is to occur. And by equating the most points, you could be in line for the $1,000 grand prize. But all the way down to 64th place in this contest, there is a prize pool, which is more than your money back. So plenty of opportunity to profit on this contest if you can nail those picks. You don't have to get all 10 correct. You maybe don't have to do that. Maybe sometimes you will, but at the end of the day, it's all about racking up those points. And to facilitate that for you guys, when you sign up to Thrive Fantasy right now, you can use code HAMMER for our exclusive promotion on sign up, a 100% deposit match up to $100. You only have to use 20% of the bonus to sign up for this contest. So get involved with Thrive Fantasy. To make it easier for you guys to make those picks, we're going to go over to Pips again to find his best spots from this player pool. So what do you have for us here?
So the first one is up top, Bradley Beal over 22 and a half points. So I really like this one in the a bit easier matchup against the Hornets. He scored 26 the last time they played. He also scored 20 plus points in 10 straight games. So I think Bradley Beal is coming along game by game, and I think this line is pretty good to take the over.
Yeah, we liked him the other day. We had him on an over against the Nets. So against a bad Charlotte defense, perhaps more of the same. So I like that one there.
Yeah.
Any other spots you like?
So another one is Kevin Durant under 36 and a half points and rebounds. I mean, Toronto Raptors are pretty good rebounding team,
Yeah.
but as well, I think Kevin Durant will get double teamed and probably OG Anunoby as a sign up player for him, and I will enjoy watching that. I have picks for this game, and I think, yeah, Kevin Durant first game of the season he scored 27 points, and I think the last game against the Raptors he scored 15. Yeah, he had the season lowest usage in both games, and that comes from them doubling team him and stuff. And with Kyrie playing and so many other players back, I think he doesn't need to score like 30 plus points. And if he wants to score, he will need to try really hard against this defense. And I just don't see it. And I think this line is actually a couple of points off. I think it should be like 34 and a half. So I really like this one.
So good spots there on Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant to get you started. 8 more picks, rack up the most points. You could be in line for that grand prize. You get 95 points on that Bradley Beal over. You get 105 for that Kevin Durant under if they do come to fruition. Listen, I like going for an under against my Raptors here, so I'm not going to argue with this one. I will say, from having seen the Raptors play the Nets twice this season, they will double Durant. They will put OG on him. And Kevin Durant is comfortable enough with his abilities to not have to force things, allow other people to thrive. So if he's the one who's getting doubled, then he's fine with somebody else helping the Brooklyn Nets win that game. So interesting spots there. Again, sign up with code HAMMER for that $100 bonus when you sign up. Get involved with this contest. So let's move in now to the official pick segment of our show here. And for this one, we do have 2 spots for you guys. We apologize for starting late today, but sometimes we start the show, a line moves off the number that Pips wants to give out. We don't want to give you a pick that Pips wouldn't bet himself on that number, so we wanted to find another spot for you guys. And wouldn't you know it, the 2 picks there from Thrive Fantasy that we're giving out, we are also involved with those games on the 2 official picks on the slate on Pick and Roll for the Friday. Let's close out the week with some winners here. We're starting with that Raptors game at the Brooklyn Nets, but we are going to the Raptors side of things for their superstar sort of player. I would say so far he's looked like a superstar in Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, Pascal Siakam over 36 and a half points, rebounds, and assists, which is minus 105 at BetMGM. So Pascal Siakam, as you said, is looking like a superstar this season. He has an average of 40.3 points, rebounds, and assists. So it's like almost 4 points over this line. And the interesting part about this one is he played 11 games this season, and 8 games were a very tough matchup. So he had played against the Heat twice, which is for his, Bam Adebayo as a matchup is like one of the most difficult ones. So he had Heat twice, Cleveland Cavaliers twice, 76ers twice, and Dallas Mavericks and New Orleans Pelicans. So that's like almost every team is top 5 in defense, or his matchup is top 5 in defense. So him having 40 points, rebounds, and assist average in these kind of matchups is like crazy. And he had 3 matchups, a bit easier ones, and that was a game against the Hawks, who are also above average defense, but compared to the rest, that's an easier matchup. And he had 49 PRAs in the game against the Spurs, huge blowout. He played only 27 minutes, still had 43 PRAs. And the game against the Nets that have Ben Simmons on the floor in that game, he had 60 point rebound and 37 points, triple-double, and he's getting to play against them again. And I just love Nets defense for Siakam here. Like they will just switch, and allow him to play one-on-one. And I don't see anyone on this Nets team who can even slow down Pascal Siakam. And Nets didn't double anyone entire season. They just love to play switch and single coverage. And if they give Siakam single coverage, and yeah, I think he can destroy them on the glass. He can score inside. He can, I mean, getting to the line. Yeah, I just love it for Siakam in this game on every level. And in the last game, as I told Jacob, I had him over point rebounds and assists, and he hooked me by one. But he had 4 assists and 14 potential assists in the game against the Pelicans. And yeah, I just think we are about to get some positive regression even on the assists. But I'm not worried about his rebounds and points in tonight.
Yeah, Siakam, I mean, you said everything I kind of wanted to say about the player, the way he's looked this season. Raptors' half-court offense is not very good. It's one of the worst in the league. I think part of that could be Siakam's been out. Part of that is because they don't give him the ball enough. He's been playing like a superstar. The Raptors, I think, should feed him like a superstar. I'm all for getting guys involved, but this guy has been absolutely special this season. Come back from injury, missed 10 games, hasn't missed a beat on the court, and he torched the Brooklyn Nets earlier in the season, as you mentioned. So matchups are going to be there. I really like the spot on this one. But moving on into the second official play, a same-game parlay involving Bradley Beal yet again as the Wizards are facing against the Hornets. So let's hear the play for this one.
So same game parlay for this one is Bradley Beal over 19.5 points combined with PJ Washington over 13.5 points, which is minus 105 at DraftKings. So as I mentioned earlier, Bradley Beal scored 20 plus points in 10 straight games, and I don't think he's stopping against the Hornets. He had 26 against them in the last game, even though Kuzma and Porzingis were just forcing stuff out. I think they combined for over 40 field goal attempts, and yeah, I think it's more about Bradley Beal getting along. He scored 25 points against the Nets, even though they thrown some double teams on him in the second half. And I really like this spot for Beal. The Hornets' defensive scheme is very suitable for his scoring. He'll get inside, shoot over Plumlee, drop coverage, and get to the line as Hornets are fouling a lot. So I like that part. And the second part is PJ Washington over 13.5 points. I think with Wizards allowing the least 3-point attempts in the league, they just stay with their guys. They don't help on the inside. They allow post ups. They allow everything, and that doesn't suit well for Terry Rozier and Kelly Oubre and most of these guys. So I think we'll see way more inside scoring from PJ Washington here, and he covered this line. I think is 7 out of the last 8. The only game he didn't cover was against the Wizards, where he scored 13 points, so 1 point under. But Gordon Hayward was playing in that game, and he's also good inside scorer and mid range. I think he was leading them in field goal attempts, and he's out tonight. So with Hayward out, Rozier and Oubre in tough matchups, I think this one is a great spot for PJ Washington, and I really love both of these lines.
Yeah, good spot here. I like the Beal play a lot. We went to him on Wednesday. He's playing against the Hornets tonight. When a team's playing the Hornets, I guess there can always be a little bit of fear as to a blowout. The spread on this game is 2.5, 3 points. So the expectation is that this will not be a blowout. And if that's the case, 2 good spots here. So let's recap the plays for you guys again. Go into Pascal Siakam for the first one, over 36.5 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. That is minus 105 at BetMGM. And then going to the second play, official pick number 2, Wizards at the Hornets. We have a same game parlay. Bradley Beal over 19.5 points. PJ Washington over 13.5 points. Also minus 105, also at DraftKings. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Pick and Roll today. If you guys want more sports betting content from the Hammer Betting Network, we do a World Cup betting show with myself involved every single weekday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time on the Fine Margins YouTube channel. Just search up Fine Margins, you'll find it, or at Fine Margins with 2 S's on Twitter. If you get involved for some more free picks over there, we're doing some great stuff on the Hammer Betting Network. We're also doing great stuff on this show. Remember, you can catch this show on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the Board NBA YouTube channel, and on Twitter at the Board NBA. Make sure you're following us there every week at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Time. A little bit after that, you can find this on any podcast platform that you like. Just search Pick and Roll, and we'll have more NBA discussion and betting content for you guys on Monday. Let's hope to cash some tickets and start our weekend off on the right foot.